10 News begins with breaking news.
A husband convicted of shooting his wife in the head just found out his sentence. I'm Virginia Cha.
I'm Jason Martinez. The courtroom was packed with Mary Fununu's friends and family, and 10 News reporter Jessica Chen is there with the details. Jessica?
Yeah, the sentencing just came down. The defendant getting 50 years to life in prison. Right before his sentencing was read, the victim's family, friends, brothers and sister talked about the mother of 6, and they were directing their message at Huadi Fununu, the man convicted of shooting and killing his wife, Mary Fununu. He sat motionless in the courtroom as Mary's sister, brother, and best friend talked about how Huadi's actions turned their lives upside down. The father shot and killed his wife on New Year's Day 2016. When police arrived to their home, they found Mary with injuries to her upper body. Huadi eventually turned himself into police. The couple had 6 children, and the family says they were having marital problems. Mary's sister says Huadi has torn their family apart.
The murder of my sister by this heartless man has torn my family apart and ruined our lives forever. He selfishly and intentionally took the life of a kind, loving, generous, innocent woman. He stole my only sister from me, my brother's sister, my parents' daughter, my son's, and my niece's aunt.
Again, Huadi getting 50 years to life in prison, and coming up on 11:30, we'll hear from Mary's brother. But for now, reporting in El Cajon, Jessica Chen, 10 News.
All right, Jessica, thank you. 2 homeless men found dead early this morning at a South Bay strip mall. Let's get to 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala. She's live in Otay Mesa West. And Mimi, do investigators have any new clues at this point?
Jason, they are still here at the scene, picking up any evidence and taking photos of the 2 bodies that are still here at the scene right now. They have the area taped off. This is the Palm Plaza. You can see investigators around here right now, but all they could tell me right now is that there was trauma to both bodies, and that's why this is being investigated as a homicide. Police say the 2 bodies were found around 2:45 this morning by an officer who just happened to be in the area. A man who was pressure washing the shopping center parking lot tells me he started working around midnight, and that's when he noticed the men. He says he thought they were sleeping right outside of this Italian ice shop and tried to tell them to move so he can continue working, but they didn't. And that's when that officer in the area went over to them and realized they were dead. Now, Miguel, that's the man who was just trying to pressure wash the lot, says a lot of homeless people usually sleep here, and that's what he figured was the case this time when he saw the men surrounded by some cardboard boxes.
I saw beers everywhere, you know, there's beer cans all over the place, bottles, so I thought they were just knocked out. I didn't see any blood, I didn't see anything.
So police say right now they don't have a suspect, but investigators are using all evidence at the scene, including some surveillance cameras and some video, to try to find out who was responsible. We're going to continue to keep you updated as we learn new developments on this case. For now, we're live in Otay Mesa West. Mimi Alcala, 10 News.
Thank you, Mimi. Now to this developing story on the murder-suicide in La Jolla. This morning, investigators found a couple shot to death in their multi-million-dollar home. Jalavi Parane's son says he went to check on his mom last night and found her dead on a couch. After a SWAT team came in as a precaution, police went in and found the husband, John Marias, dead in a different part of the home. Neighbors say they're shocked. They say they never thought something like this could happen here.
They're a really quiet family. They've been living there for 20 years. I've been living here for about 12. They've just been minding their own business, repairing their houses.
Police are still working to figure out a motive and who shot whom.
New today, look at this classic 1959 pickup truck. It is ruined, but that truck may have saved a woman's life. It stopped a speeding SUV from plowing into that home in Lemon Grove. And last night, a woman named September Runkles was watching TV when she heard a loud bang. The truck hit several parked cars and then slammed into her husband's 1959 Chevy. 3 of 4 people in that truck took off running. One was even bleeding from her face. Well, the owner of that classic truck says he's had it since he was just 16 years old.
It's kind of irreplaceable to me. But at the same time, if there was no vehicle there, if that big truck wasn't parked there, you know, that car would be in my living room. And, you know, there could be much bigger consequences.
Police are trying to track down the people who took off. The driver facing a felony hit-and-run charge.
Lawmakers in Washington, D.C. are searching for answers as reports raise more questions about Jim Comey's firing. ABC's Maggie Rulli shows us what lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are now calling for.
Good job.
While addressing the Coast Guard Academy at graduation, President Trump did not shy away from the drama surrounding his administration.
Look at the way I've been treated lately, especially by the media. No politician in history has been treated worse or more unfairly.
Yesterday, news broke of accusations that the president tried to interfere with a federal investigation, allegedly asking then FBI Director James Comey to back off the investigation into his former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn.
Well, it certainly sounds, if these reports are accurate, that he wanted this investigation of Michael Flynn to stop. We don't really know what took place here, and we need to find out.
A source close to Comey confirms to ABC News that the former FBI director wrote a memo about a meeting he had in the Oval Office in February, the day after Flynn was fired, and that the president allegedly said of Flynn, "He is a good guy. I hope you can let this go." ABC has not seen the memo, first reported by the New York Times and described to reporters by sources who have seen it. It was allegedly part of a paper trail Comey left behind to document his meetings with the president. But the White House is pushing back, saying the president has never asked Mr. Comey or anyone else to end any investigation, adding this is not a truthful or accurate portrayal of the conversation. Democrats are sounding the alarm.
The events of the last 2 weeks have shaken my confidence in this administration. In the past 2 days, it's reached new heights.
And Senator Chuck Schumer's reminding everyone that just the day before this latest scandal, another report accused Mr. Trump of revealing highly classified information to the Russians. Republicans are being cautious. Speaker of the House Paul Ryan weighing in for the first time this morning.
We can't deal with speculation and innuendo, and there's clearly a lot of politics being played. Our job is to get the facts and to be sober about doing that.
But others within his own party are speaking out. Senator John McCain called the latest allegation of, quote, Watergate size and scale. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, Washington.
And meanwhile, another developing story, Russian President Vladimir Putin is speaking out about the intelligence scandal, denying that Russia received any secrets from President Trump. The president accused of sharing highly sensitive information from Israel with Russian officials at a closed-door White House meeting. Putin denies it, and Israeli leaders are responding. The defense minister tweeting, "The security relationship with our greatest ally is deep, significant, and unprecedented." But others say unwritten rules have been broken.
There are clear understandings that the receiving country cannot share that intelligence with any other party without the express permission of the country that collected it.
ABC News has learned that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Trump spoke on the phone yesterday. That call was secret and not reported by the White House.
New today, Chelsea Manning is free after spending 7 years in prison. This is the photo she sent out today with the caption, "First Steps of Freedom." Manning was released from prison in Kansas early this morning. She was convicted of espionage in 2013, sentenced to 35 years in prison, but former President Obama commuted most of that sentence just before he left the White House. She also made headlines for coming out as transgender while in prison. Private Manning will be remaining on active duty. She won't be paid, but she will be eligible for benefits.